Welcome back to Fashion here. Time for my review for the 2024 Austrian Grand Prix. Pretty crazy finish to that race, and I think there's going to be a lot of very heated takes, I think, on both sides, especially with both particular fan bases in this, particular kind of flashpoint, I guess. But we'll get to that later. So, started with Verstappen on pole, Norris P2. Nice warm sunny conditions, didn't look like there'd be any risk of rain, and all drivers were on medium tires except for Zhou, who opted to start from the pit lane and was starting on hard tires. Verstappen gets a good start, he maintains the lead of the race. Hamilton got up a position and was up to P4. Piastri, a bit of an off, going through the gravel, I think lost a position or two there. Leclerc, unfortunately for him, he gets front wing damage, just got kind of sandwiched at turn 1 between Piastri and Perez. Wasn't really anyone's fault there, but broken front wing and has to pit after the opening lap. Sargent, also in the pits, probably got some kind of front wing damage as well at some point, and so his race is also heavily compromised. Lap 3, Hamilton overtakes Russell at turn 3, but Russell gets him back at turn 4. Lap 6, Hamilton re-let Sainz pass because the stewards had basically decided that Hamilton moving ahead of Sainz on the opening lap had been because it was off track, so Hamilton forced to give that position back. So a bit of an unfortunate sequence there for Hamilton. Lap 7, Piastri overtakes Perez at turn 6 for P6. Really good move and unexpected overtaking spot. Lap 12, Ricciardo starts the pit cycle a bit early. Lap 15, L1 overtakes Leclerc for P18. Definitely not what you want if you're Leclerc. Car acting quite strange at certain points in the race. Lap 17, Leclerc pits again for hard tires. At this point, he's almost a lap down, so really giving me flashbacks to Canada just a couple weeks ago, where a very similar situation happened. Lap 20, Verstappen and Norris gap is at 6 seconds. Verstappen looks like he really has things all under control. Lap 21, Zhou punted by Alonso at turn 3. Alonso just a small bit of a clumsy mistake, a big lockup at turn 3, and just goes into the back of Zhou, sending him off track. Zhou was able to continue, no damage. Alonso too, but that incident would be looked at by the stewards. Lap 22, Hamilton and Perez both pit. Alonso is given a 10-second penalty. Of course, these kinds of penalties for minor incidents are definitely much harsher than they were last year, when they traditionally would have been a 5-second time penalty. Verstappen and Norris both pit lap 24. Hamilton given a 5-second time penalty for crossing the white line on pit entry. Normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but with the configuration of the Austria circuit, because of I believe because of the closing speed of the cars going on the racing line behind, just for safety reasons, they don't want drivers doing that, and there was a couple drivers who got penalties for that. Lap 29, Verstappen complaining about speed at the end of the straights. Seems like he was struggling with some kind of engine issue potentially. Lap 31, Perez was under investigation for speeding in the pit lane. That's always going to be a slam dunk penalty, so 5-second penalty for Perez. Lap 35, Leclerc has his third stop. Race definitely not going well. He pits for mediums, and at this point he's a lap down. Where are we? Let's see. Lap 36. Really good wheel-to-wheel racing between Alonso and the Alpines, and we got a couple of tasty moments on the radio between Ocon and Gasly as their rivalry, inter-team rivalry, continues. Lap 44. Albon given a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line, similar to Hamilton. Ocon, we get a shot of Ocon losing some bodywork from the back of his car. Don't know if it had a big effect on the car. Looking at the positions, he finished about where he was when that incident happened. Lap 48, Piastri overtakes Hamilton for a virtual P5 at turn 3. So good move there by Piastri, and he's been gradually moving his way up the field as the race has progressed, recovering from that mistake in qualifying yesterday. Lap 51, Verstappen really struggling with tires. Gasly overtakes Leclerc for P11. Lap 52, Verstappen and Norris both pit again on the same lap, and Verstappen has a very slow stop, a 6.5 second stop, which dropped that gap from about 7 to 8 seconds before the pit stop down to 1.8 seconds. Lap 55, Norris starting to put pressure on Verstappen. Lap 57, Perez overtakes Magnussen for P8. Lap 58, black and white flag for Norris for track limits. Norris goes off at turn 3 trying to overtake Verstappen, and basically the stewards, I think, really did not want to give a penalty for this, because even though he had broken the track limits rules, it was basically such a strange situation that you wouldn't really expect it to happen. So then Norris thinks that Verstappen is moving under braking. Lap 61, tries again, turn 4, as it wasn't able to make it stick there. Lap 63, Norris overtakes Verstappen at turn 3, and Verstappen just goes off track to stay ahead. Lap 64, again, Norris tries to make a move, and there's contact this time between Verstappen's left rear tire and Norris's right rear tire at turn 3. They both get punctures from that move, and basically this fight that had been kind of escalating, just kind of completely falls apart, as both drivers have lots of damage and they both need to pit. Immediately afterwards, like not even a sector had passed since that contact, Norris was given a 5-second penalty for track limits. So it really feels like they really didn't want to give that penalty, and then just gave it right at the end once it became clear that it wasn't really going to matter. It'll be interesting to see if that gets converted to a grid penalty next race, given that Norris would end up basically just retiring in the pits, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. Russell is leading suddenly from 3rd place, and kind of all hell is broken loose. Piastri overtakes Sainz for P2 as well, so his pace getting better and better as well. Verstappen, damage to his car isn't as bad, was able to control punctures so the tire doesn't just go flying everywhere, and he comes out P5 after his pit stop. But Norris, unfortunately for him, retires from the Grand Prix. Lap 67, Russell, Piastri gap is 3 seconds, and we had a very brief virtual safety car as well for like a lap or so, which could, at the end of the day, could have made a difference. Verstappen given a 10-second penalty for causing collision. Guess they decided that he was primarily to blame for that. Lap 69, Russell, Piastri, gap 2.3 seconds, so it is coming down, but unfortunately not fast enough as laps are ticking down. We get to the final lap of the race, and Russell takes the checkered flag to take his second career Grand Prix victory. And while it was a bit quite different circumstances to how he took his first, you're always going to take a win no matter how it comes. So, joining Russell on the podium, Piastri and Sainz, really good recovery for Piastri after starting P10. For Sainz, a bit of a tricky Grand Prix, probably would have been hoping that he could challenge for the win, challenge for that P2, but I think he'll still be happy with a podium. Hamilton P4, probably a bit disappointed given what was happening up the road and ahead of him, just didn't really have the pace today in the long run. Verstappen P5, obviously pretty disappointed to not get the win. I think, the fact that he could have easily DNF'd like Norris, I think he'll still be decently happy to get 10 points. And the reality is he actually builds on his championship lead despite that. P6, Hulkenberg, excellent result for him, obviously helped by the Verstappen-Norris crash, but he did finish ahead of Perez on pace, so that's definitely a really great effort by him. P7, Perez, definitely a disappointment. Despite all of Verstappen's issues today, Perez still finished almost like 20 seconds behind him. So yeah, definitely something that needs to improve in the coming races. P8, Magnussen, again really good result, showing great result for Haas. P9, Ricciardo, P10, Gasly batting out the points, and then you have Leclerc, P11, a really tough race for him. I don't think it was really his fault. Felt like the damage and then all those extra tire stops. I think he did 1 or 2 extra compared to everyone else. That definitely did not help as well. P12, Ocon, 13th, Stroll, 14th, Tsunoda, 15th, Albon, 16th, Bottas, 17th, Zhou, 18th, Alonso, 19th, Sargent, and your 1 DNF was Lando Norris. So, finishing up with the championship standings, Verstappen, like I said, extends his lead 237 points. Norris second, 156. Leclerc's third, 150. But that gap behind is now much, much closer. Sainz is fourth, 135 points. Perez fifth, 118. Piastri sixth, 112. And Russell seventh, 111. So Perez could easily find himself seventh in the championship, after the next race in Britain. Hamilton a bit further adrift, 8th and 85 points. Alonso 9th, 41. Sonoda 10th on 19. 11th Stroll on 17. 12th Hulkenberg on 14. 13th Ricciardo on 11. 14th Behrman on 6. 15th Gasly also on 6. 16th Magnussen on 5. 17th Ocon on 3. Albon 18th on 2. And then Joe, Bottas, and Sargent are yet to score. So overall, definitely a really unexpected result. Racing was okay, not like a super fantastic race, but even if Norris and Verstappen hadn't crashed and come together, it still would have been a pretty tight finish to the flag. So pretty decent race overall. So thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.